Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Mr. David Knoll, also known as Hawkeye 2000 Creator, and I'm outside on the porch and figured if I was going to discuss the nature of being, I should be in nature. And so I'm outside, was in the yard, but there was too much glare on the screen. But anyway, um, I'm on a battery, so this is going to be a short video, me at least. Um, But I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator, and I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the universe. So, since I'm out here, I wanted to see what my camera would pick up of the yard. There's one of my tools there, and that's up my driveway. And I don't know which of those trees and things you can see, but anyway, it's a nice spring day out here today, and kind of sort of wanted to share it with you, depending on where you were in the world and what you were up to. Um, and for those of you who I tried to hit 5:20, and I had a phone call slowly interrupted me. Hey, Jody. Thank you. That's my field up there. The rest of the yard looks like hell. I'll show you my construction area down here. Um, that's my mess I'm trying to clean up in front of the house, and there's where I'm still tearing out sections of the floor so I can finish this porch. Been a lot of old concrete that I had to get rid of, and it's hey Delaney, love to you. But I've been holding this bowl waiting, so I'm going to take a hit. And we 5 minutes later, but it is in the spirit of the gesture, I reckon. So in my meditations of things, which seem to be all the time, excuse me, I realize that when I listen to other folks and watch other channels and watch in chat rooms and kind of lurk around, I realize that a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this. Okay, I have to state categorically that I'm guilty of this. Hey, Elderberry, howdy, Kimosabi, right back at you. I'm the lone stranger. No, this ain't a joint. It's a cigarette. My other's in my red pipe. Hey, Teresa, how are you? So, I have to keep this short because I'm on the battery and outside kind of thing. But for those of you who may have just joined, let me. Duggar's been behind me out here in the yard, and that's one of his toys right out there, one of his stuffed animals. But there's up my driveway from here, and um, that's behind me. There's my Toyota and my trailers and a pile of stuff back there in the background. I have been making progress, um, albeit a little slow for me. But here's one of the things that I have to keep telling myself. I'm a lot older than I was, and I am grateful for what creator I still have, the mobility, the functionality, however you want to put it. And sun's going down over here in the corner. So anyway, yeah. But anyway, hey Jody, how are you? Delaney, Elderberry, Teresa. If I missed anybody, I love you. It's been um, it's been a nice couple of days here. Um, it was unbelievably windy yesterday. It would have been, I guess, a great day. Here comes the sun on my face. But anyway, in understanding the nature of being, it is so simple, it's complicated. And in watching and listening, and this topic's been kind of rolling around for a couple of days, like most subjects that I have. And it has to do with the more I learned, hey, Dark Truth, the more that I've learned, the more I've learned from reading Buddha and Christ and all these other different things and everything, I realized the simplicity of it all through the shaman training, that all those things are related. Hi, Ian, how are you? But what all of these teaching, what all these religions, what all the books that we read, and I'm not suggesting that you stop reading, but I want you to understand that the nature of your being, the nature of your soul, is connected to the universe all the time. And so the nature of things is that nature lives in a symbiosis. You know, there are plants that will grow on shady conditions, there are plants that won't grow with shady conditions. There are some plants that require more water, and some plants, like grow down here at the bottom of the hill, but they won't grow at the top of the hill. The same thing in nature as far as elevation and mountains and things. And so we have to understand where our place is in the nature, okay? And so many folks are in unnatural circumstances, it's hard for them to place nature in their realm of reality, I guess you could say. But in this idea, though, and I have stated this before, and I will again probably, um, is that when you just let nature be, when you allow yourself to just be, and there's a lot of people who've got a lot of different explanations. There are books out there about, be in the now and be here now and be this and be, but the bottom line of that is that basic statement is true. Be here in the now. So we can worry about yesterday, but yesterday's already happened. We could and possibly should be concerned about, personal events or whatever in the future, but can we really fix them? No. All we can do is be ready and for any inevitability, wherever that may be, in that you believe yourself that you can get her done. We had a lot of rain here a few weeks back. There was a lot of flooding, a lot of this and that, and a lot of people had to do a little bit of shucking and jiving. With their pieces got wet and land was too, soft to plow, and just people had to make arrangements, rearrange their schedules. And from the folks that I know, nobody shook their fist at God at all the extra rain that we got. You know, we got a lot, maybe a little too much at one time, but nobody complained about it. They had to change their schedules and had to wait for the fields to dry out. And they had to do this before they could plant because it's planting season around here. So, folks who, one could say, well, God was, hated everybody and made it rain so much. And, then it got to the point where just a week or so ago, it got so hot and so dry that the ground, so it's an ever changing, years in a row, like 6 or 8. This time of the spring, we didn't have any rain. It quit raining in like February and didn't rain again until September. And this year, I just came out of the woods with Duggar a little bit ago, and I still got some water standing in certain places in the backyard, which is good for this time of year. Now, but it could, that rainstorm that came by the other night could have been the last one for the season because it has happened in the past. So all my tanks are full of water and everything, and am I going to worry that we'll have another drought? Slightly in the back of my head, but I'm not concerned because if it does happen, then that's the nature of things. So, but there will be people who will shake their fists at the sky and blame the creator, and they've got bad karma, and everything is on them, when actually, that's really not true. And people will take what the nature of things are, Dad only got to like 60 today. It was 59 earlier, and the temperature dropping as the sun goes down. But yeah, it's a nice day out here, and chilly, but it's nice. Think I'll have a fire outside somewhere tonight. I'm trying to get my um, the area where my sweat lodge is cleaned up again, and I've got several piles of stuff all ready to go. But anyway, but in the nature of being, when you understand that you just be the best person that you can be, you can still read stuff and you can learn history, but as many of us have learned over the years, um, you have to read. So Ducker's out here in the yard somewhere. I don't know where. Um, but in the nature of being, regardless of the situation and change, regardless of the circumstances, I've talked about being, hi, bye, Jamie, how are you? Blessings back to you. Did I miss anybody? The other night, they were flying and spraying just before the storm. So, but as Native American, shamans have told me, don't shake your fist at them what they're doing because, we don't really know what their ulterior motive is. And with our own thoughts, we can look up at the sky and go, well, before it hits us, I'm praying that Creator knows what's going on. And, and that if there's any adverse effects in those things that they're spraying, that they will end up being beneficial in the long run. I mean, so how we look at things, our nature of being, and we want to come. Now, I agree, they're doing stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'm on that. But I used to only focus on the bad things. Oh my God, they're spraying again. Oh my God, and that would just ruin my day. And it would take me out of the nature of my being. Okay. And my nature of my being is to be calm and harmonious with my surroundings and things like that. But when your surroundings, and I've talked about this before, but I think it's important for folks to understand that when I got put in jail and banging, I mean, it's all concrete and steel. So things that happen on the first floor will reverberate all the way up to the third floor. And it's just craziness. But anyway, so I understand where people say, well, I just can't find a quiet spot, or there's just too much interference. And if you allow you to convince yourself that you can't, then you won't. Okay. So regardless of the banging and the fact that I was in jail, I would project myself back up here to Georgia, to the last place I lived up on the hill. And I could hear the hog feeders in the middle of the night going up and down, mostly down. But in that, though, my spirit was still with nature, even though I was, never left never left concrete, except to, well, except to go to court. But then you stayed mostly on sidewalks and stuff. But anyway, so to the point, though, I didn't really touch grass or anything for a year. But my connection to Mother Earth and to nature itself, even though I was confined and locked up in with steel and concrete, I never lost my faith or my connection with the earth. So it's hard to understand for many people. Well, there's, I live near a cell phone tower and this and that. Well, okay, I get it. You've got a lot of other types of interference coming in. I totally and wholly understand it. But if you say, well, I can't focus because it's the cell phone tower, then I would say to you, it may not be the cell phone tower. It may be you convinced that it is the cell phone tower that is stopping you. And there could be some truth in it. I'm not trying to say that there isn't. So we look at the things, oh, well, there's energies coming in from the universe. They always have. Sometimes it's more than not. Oh, there's asteroids in the sky. Okay, they've always been there. The planet this and the weather conditions that. And yeah, I was noticing that the moon moved like 20 degrees in 3 days. I mean, from overhead to now, it's, not near as high in the sky. So, but when we stand with nature and we look at our surroundings, regardless of where they are, if you're in an apartment complex or in a neighborhood, it doesn't matter. You keep an eye on what nature's doing and you find out where it matters for you, because people up north versus down south, east, west, look, a lot of different scenarios. I mean, there are plants that grow up here on the hill, but 100 feet down in the woods won't grow because of the shade and other conditions. Just saying. So, but that is the nature of things. And by Jamie, I get it. I have concerns like insect decline, but it is what it is. Oh, mama, watunka, we'll find balance. Yes. Um, because, I'm concerned about that. I've got fruit trees and stuff around, but there are no bees. I haven't seen any, all the pretty azaleas and everything up on the hill. I haven't seen um, a hummingbird yet. And I've seen quite a few dragonflies, which is strange because my place isn't necessarily a dragon fly kind of habitat. Okay. But they're around. So it's like really cool. But in the nature of things, Mother Earth has gone through many changes in her long history. And, for any of us to say, well, it's just going to be calm all the time and nothing bad is ever going to happen. But that truly isn't the nature of things. Because the nature of things says that, the earth has always had some type of catastrophic whatever's, right? Not to be a downer, I'm trying to understand, but that is the nature of things. It is part of it. So, um, we had some really interesting thunderstorms the other night, but there weren't any tornadoes. There was a lot of wind, a lot of debris that's flying out of the trees and stuff. But the bottom line is that it is the nature of things. So, but anyway, but in the nature of being, you always hear me talk about accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. And in that, it is so very true, because if you just understand that, just accept what the universe is telling you, not what the world is telling you, not what the people are telling you, not what, somebody on but you find that divineness in your own heart. So people seek it by reading books, but the thing is, after reading all that stuff, does any of it make any sense? So I'm going to leave you with that for a second. I got to take a potty break over here in the corner. So hang on, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'll be right back. Take a look at the outside for a minute. I don't know where Duggar is. And apparently, peeing a lot when you're older is one of those things. Hey, Dark Truth, that we just have to put up with. So, yeah, I got a lot of green down here. Been down in the woods, and things are blooming out and so forth. And but anyway, with the nature of being, the simplicity of the soul. When we look at the universe, say, like through the eyes of a child, everything is wonderful. Everything is magnanimous. They don't see any of the pain and the suffering, and they don't understand it. And well, Teresa, that's why I live down here. A new humanity is dawning from my perspective. Nothing will stop human awakening after and as a result of total despair is like a desperate calling to compassion, a calling to love. Yes, I would agree with that, Jamie. Bye, Jamie. You're heading south too? I got lucky the freeze yesterday morning didn't kill the blossoms. Yeah, we got close to freezing last night too. It was in the upper 30s, supposed to be like 35 tonight. And I might actually be able to use some of that firewood that's still in my house. I got firewood out here in the yard, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And I got another couple of trees to cut down. So if it'll last till next year, I got to. You're still putting that hope out there? Good. But like for me, myself, and I here at the place where, I've got all this junk that I've collected for whatever reason over the years and projects I started that didn't get completed. And I think, well, all these things have changed. What I was going to do then and what I'm actually doing now and what I have the strength to do is to not overthink things, but just get what I can done on those days that I can. And I'm sort of interrupting one of those days to do this video, but I wanted, I can't do a long video because I'm on the battery. So, but the nature of being, though, I know myself for a long time, and my shaman friends told me, Hawkeye, you're overthinking it. But what about this? And this is Scott and that, but yeah, okay, but you're overthinking this. Where are you now in this? What do you want? Well, and what? Okay, so just break it down to really simple things without, bringing in Buddha or Jesus or anything. But just where do you think you fit now? Well, I think my heart is in the right place, and I want my spirit to, and I have, so in this understanding of the universe, though, when the more that I slow down and stop, now, not to say that this knowledge and things that I've read and learned and studied over the years hasn't helped me. Don't get me wrong. But the long and the short of it is, at the end of this, it means that what really matters is what's in your heart. So the nature of things is, where is your heart? Jody says, oh, Mr. Null, I managed to find that Cohiba brand you spoke of. $20. Yeah, that's a little expensive, but that was a few years ago too, but still sounds like it was worth it, plus some Swisher sweets. Man, them Swissers, I grew up on them things. I used to smoke them back when I was 13 years old. Something my grandpa used to smoke. Yep. Cutting up next year's firewood. Stay busy, man. Thanks for your time. Great to hear your light. Good for you. Thank you. And back to you. But in this understanding of the being, so regardless of where we at, where we are, where we live, what our schedules are, we can stay in the spirit by looking outside and looking at a tree or a shrub or whatever it is. Just look at the ground and say, thank you for allowing me to stand on you. Mulberry. Oh my God. It's a mulberry tree I've got out there. Elderberry. I don't know what my son wants the wood for smoking meats. It's pear and mulberry. Yeah. And also down here, we got a lot of pecan trees. And if you've ever had a steak smoked on pecan wood, oh my, people who've come down here to visit, can I take some of that wood home with me kind of thing? But, we got a lot of pecan trees around. I don't have any. I got one tree on my property that has been stunted for the last 20 years, but I know where to get pecan limbs if I want to do a fire. So, but yeah. But the nature of things, and it's like, those folks who, well, we got a group of vultures over the house. One's back over there. They roost sometimes right back here in my woods behind the house. There's some wind high up today. It's a really nice blue sky. They haven't tampered with it. One just flew over the house. Yeah, big turkey vultures. Yeah, pecan's great for a lot of stuff, elderberry. But anyway, uh, Schweitzer sweets, Schweitzer sweets, cherry flavored. Yeah, talking about cigars. Anyway, apple wood for pork roast. We don't have many apple trees down here because the climate isn't cold enough. So I've got several pear trees on my property, and I have been snipping and pruning them this year. They've come up in places that are like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So, but what we do have a lot of is pecan wood, and I got a lot of oak on my place. Um, but in fact, I was down taking a walk through the woods before I did this, and noticed that one of my great big huge oak trees had split. Applewood. I don't think Walmart sells it down here, but for me, it's just not necessary for the extra. I've got pearwood if I wanted that, and other trees, but usually oak or pecan is my favorites. Me and my cigarillo. I do have some cherry wood. Cherry wood's not near as good. It leaves a tang on the meat. I've got a lot of cherry wood that I've stacked and used for the stuff over the years, and it's not my fondest wood to cook something with, to smoke with. There's some tars and things in cherry wood, but just saying, that's my personal. Hey, Michelle. So anyway, sticking with the spirit, even though making a fire tonight and cooking a steak sounds like a really good idea, and I got a couple in the bottom of the refrigerator I need to use. So, but the nature of being, everything that you learn, cherries for carving, exactly, Ian. It's great wood. Oh my God, puppet hands and thing. Oh my God, cherry wood. And hard. Oh my God. You turn to roast with cherry. It's not my preferable, you know. Plus, we don't have a lot of it. I do, but you ruined a roast with cherry. We should have one night of just cooking and roasting things. But anyway, um, the idea though that, oh, here's Duggar. Where you at? Everybody's been asking for you. Everybody's been asking for you. Hey, Duggar boy, where you been? You been down in the woods, huh? You been down in the woods, have you? There's my Duggar dog. What you listening to, Duggar? Yeah, he's a pretty dog. It's been right at a year now that he and I have been together, and he's learning boundaries, and he still doesn't come when I actually want him to, but he is getting better. When we were down in the woods earlier, he ran off for a little bit, but then came right back by to check on me, so that's a good thing. Oh, you got a 3.5 hour show, 3.5 hour tour? Yes, he is better, Delaney. Yeah, he got better the next day. Yeah, he is handsome. He's a good dog. And his parents called me up on the phone earlier. It was why I was a little late getting on here, but they still miss him after all this time, but they just can't have him there at the house where they live now. But anyway, but the nature of being, we have to understand that when it comes right down to it, when it comes down to your final days, and even if you're surprised, in other words, something happens, and you get knocked out of the ballpark, unbeknownst to you, some catastrophe or something, and which we don't wish that on anyone. which I used to say I don't wish it on any of my friends, but now I have to include it even on the people that I don't like. So, but anyway, the nature of things is that the more that we understand nature and our place in it, and my place in it may not be your place in it, but we have to accept and, receive what that knowledge is. So all the book learning, all the things, and this is not to you, Teresa, or anything, but I mean to all the things about Buddha or Christ or the Egyptians or even Native American, some histories like, why did they build the mounds and why did they build Serpent Mound and why did they? None of it's going to matter. It isn't. Everything that you've learned is going to come down to and boil down to what is in your heart. What is the nature of your being? So if the nature of your being is to try to be kind, then you do the best you can because that is your nature. If it's to be intelligent, to help other people, and so, okay. It's the idea of it is that what does it matter in the long run, to your soul? What did your soul learn from studying peacocks or, from studying, aliens or what? Any of this, does it matter when it is time for us to make the crossing? And the answer is none of it. Yeah, Teresa, Beast watching nonstop. Did you witching? I got it. I understand that. Like I said, I'm not saying that we should not keep learning things. That's not my point about this. My point is very simple, though. Hey, Cherry, how are you? The more that you learn, though, it must be something that feeds your soul, not confuse you. And so many people go diving down some rabbit holes, and by the end of it, they're just more confused. Ian says, hope for the best, but prepared for the worst. That's absolutely true. Do I know what's going to happen tomorrow? No, I can kind of forecast. The weather looks good. Me and Duggar, I want to go to the river like really bad. And it was just a little too chilly for Dave today to go down in that water and get wet. I'm mostly worried about Duggar because he don't have clothes to put on. Teresa, it feeds some of our souls, but it feeds our curiosity, but it doesn't necessarily feed the soul. It may feed some people, but not necessarily all, because it can literally confuse people to who they truly are. Now, don't get me wrong. I watched a movie last night that was basically a war document about Pork Chop Hill, the last battle, as it were, in the Korean War, with Gregory Peck and lots of folks in it. It was a good movie, and it was very, sympathetic to, in that, the whole reason for it was to show that politics is what ran the war. Teresa says, talking about source aliens as space wars is confusing, not good for my soul, but I watch it to keep an open mind. I understand. And me too. That's not my point of all this. It's not to discredit anything, all right? But we have to look at the total sum of the things. What does it do my soul? It's really interesting to watch. I still read on things, don't get me wrong. But the nature of who we are is what we will be in the long run. So all of the knowledge of all these things, if I pass away tomorrow, knock on wood, that don't happen. But it's that part isn't going to help me, is my point. It helps me in this reality, but not when I cross over to the next one. So if we're all worried about the next realm, then we have to just keep that in mind. This is all really great information for me here now. But what is it going to do me when I cross over? So that's why I'm stating this. It's not that we shouldn't have as much, information as possible. Not my point, okay? This is very difficult to discuss because it sounds like I'm trying to beat on everybody's position and what they want to study. Not my point, not at all. But at the end of all this study, you're going to find that the nature of things is going to be what you've learned in your heart to be true. Not about aliens or anything. It's what have you learned about the nature of existence, that we are a part of it all the time. What is our reality is regardless of what we do, we are still part of the natural order. So then that we are part of the nature and our heart should be open to the nature, regardless of other teachings and things that we want to learn. Again, I'm not beating up on any teachings, learnings. That is not my point. But after all of my study and everything, what's it going to matter to me if I pass over tomorrow or the next day or whatever? It's what's in my heart and what I've learned to be true. So true to nature, true to myself. I try to still continue to bring in things that um, help me to understand the nature of things. Teresa says, it does my soul very good to remember who we were, where we came from, things we list so we can remember how to be who we really are. Um, Teachings from the past might remind us of who our connections with nature. To some of us, but here's my point to this. What teaches us about nature is nature itself. That sounds oversimplified, and that's part of it. Dark 2 says, my heart has to be in the right place. Yep. Cherry says, my connection with nature caused me to notice the earth's changes. Yep. There you go. But the more that I walk through the woods, the more I understand other things. This like not man-made, and how it fits into my paradigm. Teresa, I understand it, and that's my point to this. If you can't get out into nature, you can. The only person that's holding you back from being in touch with nature is yourself, because we are nature. It is in us. And when we accept that it's all around us, even in the city and crazy conditions, it's still there. That's my point. I know you may not be able to go out and touch the ground. But my point is that in your heart and your soul, even when I was in jail for a year, and didn't touch anything but concrete, I still had a connection to nature. I still had it. So my understanding of this, it's not about sitting around and meditating, Teresa. It's understanding that you're a part of it always. Yeah, and dreaming is just a part of it, but it isn't about dreaming. It's understanding that we exist with nature, regardless of our, yep, we're always connected. And that's the part. So you say, man, I really want to get out, and it's wintertime up here, and I want to see the grass grow, and I want to do this. That's great. So that what we remember is the nature of things. We remember what it looks like to see the flowers bloom. So live in that moment. We are nature. Not only did we come from it, but we are nature. We are part of nature. We are living, breathing beings on this planet. So anyway, I don't want to get too preachy about this, but whatever we learn, though, we have to understand that all of it boils down to very simple things. No matter how complicated, we want to insist that our minds need more information, and more information. It may be, for some folks, okay, they're looking beyond, they're looking too far, and they're looking for something that's already there. But they seek another's advice. They seek other folks. They seek, and that's okay to sit around and y'all come and chat with me. And I get that. And it's my very difficult job to try to explain that all of the matrix and everything, that for us individually, what does it boil down to? It boils down to the weight of our soul. How heavy is our soul? And I mean that metaphorically and through the Bible and stuff, but in that just be it. You know, people, well, I want to be a better person. Well, then just we, you know, then understand that, you know, you are then, right? But other folks don't look at it like that. They overcomplicate the spirit part of it. And life is fun even when it's crappy. So, and every day is an exploration, and every day is the opportunity to open new doors and to close old ones. You know, with my going around here and cleaning up shit and throwing stuff away, it gives me great pleasure. The research we do is good thought and very positive and high energy. Honey, I ain't talking about you. Okay? I am not talking about you. There are people who are looking for spirituality, and they're looking so hard they can't see it. It's right in front of them. And a tree, one blade of grass. I love science, Teresa. So that's the point about this. Well, I don't see anything wrong with it. There's nothing wrong in it. But you have to understand that if you're looking for spirituality, is it in all this stuff, or is it in a tree that's right in front of you? Cherry says, it seems that if enough of us were to be in a group, positive energies could literally cause a glow in the dark around us. Yes, and it would be good energy. I agree with you, Cherry. So I'm not trying to talk anybody out of doing any research or anything. That is not the purpose of this video or the study of it. But I'm saying that after you study it, then just have a, if you want to call it meditation, just have a sit down with yourself and just don't have any thoughts. Just clear your head and just say, okay, now what did that do for me? Not that you're expecting it, but ask the question. Okay, so I dove into all this information. Now, what did it do anything for my soul? Did it really teach me anything? And the bottom line is that the more I tried to understand who I was in the past, the more it didn't freaking matter who I was in the past. It's who I am in the now. It's what I know now. And I spent so much time for myself because I was adopted. My family lied. I mean, I spent so much time of my life looking for my past. When I found it, it was like I wasn't impressed. I spent all my time and all this looking, searching for my soul and my beginnings. And when I realized that when I found out most of the information, that the answer was I any better for the information? Well, it answered a lot of questions. I got that, you know, who my real father was, why this, and, you know, and but inside, did it make me feel any better? Inside, did it spiritually advance me? And after 20 years after learning this stuff, I realize now that it didn't mean a hill of beans. It meant to me a lot at the time. I wanted to know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in the long run of things, what did all that looking and all that heartache and all that give me in the end? And you have to be honest. And you know, to some folks, it closes things and they move on. And if anything, it just gave me more questions. Well, what prompted them to do this? And what were they thinking at the time? And Spirit told me, look, you got your answer. Shut up. It's over and done with. Why spend any more time on those past events when I can't change a damn thing? Does it matter where it come from? Well, you know, I did research it, and I might be a relative of Robert E. Lee. Not really sure. But from a spiritual standpoint, did any of that knowledge advance me? And the answer is no. Quite frankly, for myself, no. Now, it's been, 25 years, and, I've had a lot of time to cogitate over this, but in the long and the short of it, what you feel is important to you right now, and a year, 2 years, maybe 20 years down the road, like for me, I'd look back and I go, that doesn't really matter now, does it? And what did that information actually do for me spiritually? Well, actually, at the time I thought it was helping, but in the long run, did it? No. And, so if you have these conversations with yourself and you allow these things to become known to you, I know I kept convincing myself for years that it was important that I do this. And then I understood the importance was just, in my own imagination, I dreamed up that it was important, that actually it really wasn't. But anyway, um, also the satellites that sense hotspots. So people seem confused by this data, so have ignored or omitted it. The same hotspot that's happened before forest fires. Yep, Cherry. But see, that's my point. It's not to say that you shouldn't go digging, but if somebody had warned me ahead of time that if they'd said, Dave, now look, I'm not saying you shouldn't go look for this stuff, but what are you going to get out of this? Well, peace of mind. It didn't really give me peace of mind. So, but in the nature of us and our beings, I keep remembering the card I pulled about, and I can't remember which one. It might have been dolphin, but it was the manna is all around us. The manna from heaven, if you will, from the Bible. The life-giving source is all around us. So that regardless of what we learn, and yes, it will help us understand each other. Again, I'm not downing doing research or history. I love history. I love the science of it. I love science in and of itself. But what matters to your spirit, because all this other stuff is just intellectual. But so sitting outside as I do, and I know I'm privileged to have a place down here, but I planned it this way. So people say, well, did you manifest it? And I say, no, I didn't manifest this. Creator put these trees up here on the hill. I mean, you see that field up there? Go back this way. That field right there, everything, I'm going to turn the camera. That's my well right there. And all these trees. When I got this place 40 years ago, it was all an open field. Every one of those trees and everything that's growing up there, Creator put it down. I didn't. Now, I did plant a few of the trees, but the fact that all those trees and everything on my property, the idea that Mother Nature provided the hill with trees and plants and flowers. Again, I planted a couple of them, but most of what's up there, 99% of it, is Mother Nature planted the trees. Call it Creator, call it this, God, whatever. But I didn't plant them, and now I have this forest up there. And in places it's too thick, and there is no such thing as Mother Nature. God created it all. Okay, no problem, Rashid. Jamie says, it is said that spiritual advancement can in no way be measured by gross physical means. Absolutely. Cherry says, when you're good-hearted, spirit of mind, most people, their minds won't accept a God moment. Yep. Rashid, no, it isn't a deflection from Jesus. I strongly disagree with that. But anyway, that's your opinion. But so anyway, the idea that all around us is goodness, even in the worst of times. Now, I agree there are places in cities and neighborhoods and stuff, it's really crappy. I get it. But the nature of being, Who are you at the end of it all? After all the learning and all the training and all the reading and all of the everything, it boils down to, is your heart in the right place? Are you more of love than, hatred? I have to get rid of hatred. Um, and so these other things that come up, other people's belief, and so the understanding of it, you know, a lot of people can only think of what happens on this planet. And as I've discussed many times, it's not about the planet, it's about the universe. We are children of the universe, and we accept it and receive it. That's all. So just remember, it's okay and it's fun, and you can have a good time doing all kinds of looking at stuff and studying. And I am not against any of that. Um, but be cautious with yourself in that some people will say, well, I'm going to find out all these spiritual things if I study this. And they study it and they go, well, I caught a couple of things, but I didn't really get what I thought I was going to get. So it is our perception. It is our and I've talked about this before, that we have to be very careful then that we don't expect too much. We just go into this just being who we are without, expecting this grand thing. Oh, my vacation's going to be great. And then it turns out to be crap. And you go, well, so anyway. I'm glad you believe that, Rashad. Many of us don't necessarily believe that, but it's okay. Um, Jamie says, but you must be practical. Yes, stay busy prepping for others. If other people will get it. There are still friends of mine who have known me for so many years that still ignore it, ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. And I'm just like, okay, that's all. So I love you all. My battery is, this was not to be a long video. I'm outside. It's getting cooler. I want to go get my other jacket on. Plus, there's some other things I wanted to do. But Rashid, nobody said I didn't believe God's word. Um, that was your opinion. But to the point, though, what is in your heart as a true believer of the universe, and that we do belong, and our job is to do the best we can, and we're human beings, we're going to flub up. So we don't dwell on those things. We try to fix them. We try not to make the same mistakes again. And we do the best we can. That's what's going to carry us through. All the knowledge and the wisdom is not going to help me to make that crossing over. Okay. But what is in my heart and what I have done, like stopping this afternoon and having a prayer with y'all, I am a believer of Christ, Rashid, and stop this universal crap. That's your opinion, and you're welcome to your opinion. But Christ was of the universe. So, and I'm not going to try to explain it here because, you just like to argue. Much love to you, Dark Truth, to Cherry and everybody. I got stuff I want to do before it gets dark, but I just wanted you to just stop and, I don't worship the universe either, Rashid. And I believe in the creator of the universe too. So where are we wrong? Jamie, true happiness is in making others happy. Hug a tree or a cat, be it a rat. Well, I don't know about a rat, but I get it. Intent is still love. Yep. Teresa, maybe spirit of the Christians be with you all and in all ways. The Christos, sorry. Yeah, me too. The Christ consciousness, as I've talked about for a long time, never left this planet. And there are people who still carry that Christ consciousness with us. And it is, to me, those true believers. And but anyway, yeah, which God, right, Ian? I'm not even going to go into that. I'm just going to leave it at that. the creator of all things. But anyway, abracadabra, elderberry. I got you. So here's one for the road. Okay, it's almost 6:20. Um, Smoke if you got them, and if not, well then I'll just cosmic hugs. Yes to you all. Be safe, everybody, and remember that what is truly in your heart, and especially for those of us, we want it to be those good things. So, I never wish any harm on anyone anymore, because I used to like swear at the politicians and wish they'd have and I don't do that anymore. I pray that, that folks will waken up to the truth of things and start harming each other. So, but with that said, battery running down and the sun going down and it's chilly and it's almost been an hour. Good deeds and good things will not get you into heaven. Well, then why the fuck am I here? Anyway, one for you. Okay, Dark Truth, we'll do it. Boys, it's name. Rashid, who are you to judge when Jesus said, the first of you that has never committed a sin, throw the first stone? And it seems like you got a whole bag of rocks you want to throw at people. And I would say, if you're truly in the spirit of Christ, then you will stop judging people. But anyway, that's my prayer. Yeah, I love you all. I do. Joyce, how are you? People take this incarnation too soon. Thank you. Well, go with that. I'm not arguing with God's word. I haven't, But anyway, but you're making judgments, and that's the problem I have with you. I'm not making a judgment with you, Rashid, but you are with me. So that's really a shame. I am always walking with you. I was up earlier today and I was like, sending prayers out. And I was like, for all of you out there, I know everybody's having, having troubles and heartaches and things, and life can be really tough. And so I just want you to know that I'm out here making prayers and hoping that even in the worst of times that things will come through. Yep, Joyce. This isn't a place to discuss that with Rashid, because he's not going to get where we're coming from. We include him, but he does not include us. So, bye, Jamie. Blessings to you. Thank you to all of you. So I continue every day. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. Each and every day, especially today, out walking around, I thought about the nature of things and continue to pray for each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come. Will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, and the wisdom from the universe. And in that law of three, which is always important to me, I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will find the way to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. All things from the Creator. So, ween everybody. Jerry says you are right. You can find a way to get in touch with nature, gardening, walking in the grass barefoot. But it's not only that. I know a lot of folks can't do that. And so my point is, remember the last time you walked on the grass if you can't walk on it. Remember the last time that you hugged a tree. Remember the last time that you waded in the water. Remember that last time, because it's still with you, that memory. So you say you can't walk in nature, but you can. You say, well, it's dream walking, but you can make it your reality too, in that you can smell the fragrance of a rose, or you can feel how that the grass felt on your bare feet. And so those are things that you have already experienced. So, and hopefully those things you'll be able to do soon in your neck of the world. You know, it's chilly out here right now, but I can walk around barefoot. But even when it's cold, I walk barefoot. I've learned how to do that, and that's important in and of itself to me. So, but everybody, um, dig what you need to dig. You're right, it's already there. Seek could mean just opening your mind to what you really see and feel. Yes, Cherry, and also to what you've already seen and have felt, because it is a part of you. So the people who say, there's so many, all this mumbo jumbo is pointless. Good for you, Rashid. I like it. Uh, thank you. I'm grateful for you, Teresa. That's one of the things that people keep, for the idea that they keep seeking God when they should understand that it's already there. It's already within us. So, and I think for me personally, that's one of the things that Christ tried to teach us, was that information was already inside of us, and we needed to awaken it, because he was trying to tell people, that they didn't have to, sacrifice animals to get on God's good graces. And he was trying to explain to people that there was a different way. And I'm on that 100%. So, Rashid, thank you for all your Christian wisdom. There are many of us who have already been through all of that, and we continue to pray for you as well. The kingdom is within. The way to truth and life everlasting is in us. Yep. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Cherry. There are a lot of people that I know is like go to church on Sundays and they're Jesus all the way, but they're some of the biggest hypocrites. So this idea that just Jesus is the only answer is never, of course, you know my opinion on that, but is it a part of it? I could doubt. I could double thump that Bible anytime. Thank you, Joyce. Okay, Rashid, you've got your point across. You can stop now, because I'm going to stop. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. Yep, that's what we should be focused about. And I went to several different Christian churches, and everybody wanted to rebaptize me to be saved. And I said, what? I wasn't saved once enough, Well, you got to be saved again in the blood of Jesus. No, I'm sorry. You ain't pouring that stuff on me. Okay, Rashid, then maybe somebody should block you in the future. Okay, good luck with that. Night, everybody. Good afternoon. I've been going over the idea of possibly doing a card reading soon. So, but anyway, I don't know how to block him, Delaney, or I possibly already would have. I'm trying to give him a chance to. If he doesn't want to listen, then just leave. Then we are already saved. Yeah, well, in their opinions, Rashid, the Catholic Church says it believes in God, and they're a bunch of Satan worshipers. So, but anyway, so maybe later on, I want to go do some more chores before it gets dark. So, um, okay, I'll make you a mod. I just don't know how it's doing. No, Rashid, it's not the truth tellers, because we've already been through churches and all of that. And quite frankly, Jesus has always been in my heart, but you won't understand that because I don't believe in any churches. So, but anyway, it's a religious demon troll. You have questions, it's okay, it's good. Yep, I try to let everybody speak, but you know, um, if I'm going to be told that I'm somehow not going to go to heaven and all these other things. Okay, you're making judgments on my behavior. Jody says, Rashid, consider that even the Bible has said to have an open interpretation, but we will pray for you, sir, and hope you have a good day. Yes. Hey, Ryan, how are you? Bruce Lee said, be like water, but if you do, Jesus will walk all over you. I had not heard that. That's interesting. And no offense, but I find it funny. I've already repented, Rashid. That's what you don't understand. You have no idea what my relationship is, but you keep making your comments. And that's my point. Your point of view is fine. But when you start, and you are inferring that the rest of us aren't going because you do not understand our way of thinking. And our way of thinking includes Christ. So, but anyway, oh no, beloved the ancient one, come again and again. Of course, this is this game. We were drops of consciousness. Beautiful story is ours. It's not the words that offend me. It's your attitude, Rashid. Plain and simple. It's your attitude. You assume that we don't know this. And you assume because I'm speaking of higher things that somehow I don't believe in Jesus. So that's what I don't understand. There's many of us that have read the Bible quite a few times. I'm stating God's word. Right. Over and over and over and over and over and over again to the point of just being rude. Okay. That's it. So this is not about God's word that I'm having a conversation with. And you're keep implying that it should be and somehow. So Rashid, your influence and constant rhetoric is what makes us not want to. No, God isn't rude, but you are. So we'll just leave it at that. My friends, life-giving source. Yep. Delaney says the real Christ is going to kill you religious bully fuckers. I wouldn't have gone so far, but I understand. Yeah. There's going to be a rude awakening to some folks, and but I'm still going to pray for all y'all. So have a great evening, everybody. This is Good Friday. So for those of you who do participate, I still say my Christian prayers around this time and my personal belief on certain things. I don't celebrate the Easter festivities, but I do, in my own ways, remember. So continue doing what you're doing, and and stay in the light, my friends. Not coming to play. Yeah, Barry will get with Nully and set up moderators. Yeah, I need to do that. I need to figure out how to do that. Thank you, Rashid. That's exactly true. And I would, at the end of the day, you have heard the truth. What you choose to do or not do with it is on you. That's absolutely true. Um, do I have any nut trees? Not really. No. You'll call me, good, and help walk me through it. That works for me. So, okay, everybody, it's time for me to pee again. It's after an hour, and I am on battery power out here in the yard. So, I love you all. Keep up the good work, and accept and receive the information that's all around us at all times. So, keep a good head on your shoulder, and just stay prepared for any event. It's just good policy, my friends. We cheers, everybody, to those of you who understand. And we will check in with you later. Be safe, be kind, be sweet, be compassionate. And as always, keep it between the ditches and teach